come out of it.
Thank you.
Thank you. I want to say a few things in response to your question. Aung San Suu Kyi, when she was asked by a reporter about the atrocities committed against the Rohingyas and mass exodus, she said, I don't know why so many people are fleeing the country. So also, she has been very, very unsympathetic to the treatment of Rohingyas. It's been it's been going on for many, many years. When one asked, she said, atrocities committed by both sides, even though Rohingyas only 5% of the population. So she said, both sides, the Rakhines and Rohingyas both are victims. So even though vast majorities of people that are victims are Rohingyas, and one asked the release of Rohingyas in internment camps. So she said, we have no place for them to go, even though they have been living there for generations, centuries. So they are not recent migrant, So it's like simply they can't go back to their home because homes are destroyed, of course. So she also said that it's impossible for them to integrate with the population or go back to their villages. And she has gone so far to refuse to let United Nations observers into northern Rakhine State. One can cynically state Aung San Suu Kyi has joined the ranks of other Nobel Peace winners, including, war criminals. I'm not going to mention the names. There are so many. So this is the her view or opinion on Rohingyas. So people actually thought, when I was young, they thought that maybe someday the country will change for better when when we have democracy. So she was campaigning for a change to bring country into let's say to turn country into democracy, But sadly, when she came into power, things got much worse. So yeah, that's all I have to say, I guess.
In 2012, she was released, and I was already working on my big project, and I was heartbroken when I heard about her story, and, I was like, okay, well, so, I started investigating, and I was, wow, she was imprisoned while her husband passed away, and she didn't get to watch her children grow up. This is some really harsh stuff, right? And I thought, okay, well, things are really looking up in 2015. When she was finally elected and became a fundamental part of the government, right? Nothing changed, and as Hassan said, everything got so much worse, and she refuses to acknowledge any of it. And furthermore, I think that what has damaged her reputation for me the most is that she continues to contribute to the rhetoric that vilifies the Muslim community as rapists and as violent. That's my take. Yes, Dr. Steer.
So thank you, Griselle, so much for organizing this panel. I'm Warren Steer. I direct the Holocaust and Genocide Studies program here, and we're really thrilled to be co-sponsors of this event. I also teach for the Masters in Global Affairs program, and I teach the course on religion, violence, and conflict there, and my students were tasked with addressing this problem and trying to come up with solutions. So some things I want to throw back to the panel, because I agree with everything that's been said, but there are also some structural issues. So, for example, you're absolutely right about the kind of soft denial that is peddled by Aung San Suu Kyi and others that definitely contribute to part of the problem. But another one of the issues is that structurally the government is not a democracy. And structurally, it's actually impossible for any real change to happen because the military has a lock on the way things are done there. That's just kind of like a reality on the ground. I guess one question of the three I'm going to ask, one question to the panel is, how can the international community somehow put pressure on the Myanmar government itself to change the way they do business? Because right now, there's really no option for change. The second thing is, we recognize that the international community has completely failed. But one thing that doesn't get talked about enough is how much the regional governments have failed, and how much the perpetuation of this huge humanitarian refugee disaster is continued because the governments there will not really take the extra steps necessary to try to absorb the communities, to try to deal with the challenges of citizenship and work and the things that would allow the refugee community to somehow survive this huge upheaval in their lives. And I think that's a really big question. We know the international Western community is forget about it. They're useless. But is there anything regionally that could be done? And again, can we somehow put pressure there? And then finally, the third thing, much appreciation for the words of peace, wa alaikum assalam. But what about the global Muslim community? Why hasn't the global Muslim community stepped up on a grand scale to address this problem?
Thank you so much for your question. I truly applaud you for the work that you're doing here at the university. Thank you so much.